Hello there, everybody. Ross Pitt here, briefly popping in to offer a bit of a content warning before the episode begins. About 2 or 3 times in this episode, we briefly go over the subject of rape. We know this can be a sensitive and triggering topic for some, so feel free to stop listening here. But if you wish to stick around, on with the show. Hello there, everybody. I'm Ross Pitt, Shark Hunter. And this over here, this fine fellow with the long, curly, blonde hair, is Wizzy Puff.
That's Taylor Swift.
Who the hell have I been working on this podcast with?
Taylor Swift.
All right, no, that was confusing. All right, hello there, everybody. This is Ross and Taylor's Fanfiction Power Hour. I'm Ross Pitt. That's Taylor Swift.
Howdy, y'all.
So I am sick.
Taylor Swift.
Thank you, Taylor.
Sorry, go on.
I am sick of Taylor's shit. So I am taking her through the magical world of My Little Pony fan fiction. Today, on this, the 47th of episodes, I am going to be reading Dear Sweetie Belle by Jade Ring. And Taylor over here will also be reading it with me, because why not? So, this is a very special fan fiction for me. It was one of the fan fictions that really got me into the fandom. I read this all the way back on the fanfiction.net days of my fanfiction scouring career. Probably around the time it was actually posted, so around 2012 or so. It was very early on, and, well, this one was one of my favorites for a while until I ultimately just kind of forgot about it. The author of this fan fiction, though, Jade Ring, is not really a friend, I wouldn't say, but, we've talked on occasion. We're like, So, yeah. What about you, Taylor? Has Jade Ring ever talked to you?
I wish. Been trying to contact him for months. I want to do a collab on one of my upcoming songs. Love Story Taylor's version.
Well, Taylor, you could have just come to me and asked me to get you Jade Ring.
Oh.
Serious talk, though. If Taylor Swift, and I think the audience now knows that you're not actually Taylor Swift because you kind of dropped the accent. But if Taylor Swift just came to you and said, hey, you want to do a song? Well, how would you react?
I would say, how much money are we talking?
I would probably do it for free, but think she's an idiot.
What? With your beautiful voice? Are you kidding me?
I still thought that she was an idiot after, what you made me do.
She'd be an idiot not to pick you up. And folklore is better than me. Look what you made me do. I'm just saying, you should listen to folklore instead.
I hear folklore is really good. I should absolutely listen to it. I just haven't yet. So, fun fact about this episode. Let's just pad out the length, I guess. Shoot me, but this episode is the closest we've come to recording and releasing an episode. It is currently the 9th of April. So that's fun. Oh, this is also the first episode that we've recorded since Zack Snyder's Justice League came out.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, ain't it? I thought it was pretty good.
I'm not going to watch it.
But, well, alright. To each their own, I guess. Other than that, I guess...
Ross has already read this before, and I haven't, and I'm jealous.
Well, you should be jealous, because... Actually, no, I'm jealous of you. You get to experience this for the first time now. On recording, no less.
Without further ado.
Oh, yeah, and also I'm scared that this won't live up to my nostalgia for it. And also, go down into the description, click on the story, read it yourself because it's really good. Or at the very least, give it a thumbs up and you can listen to our asses do it. Dear Sweetie Belle by Jade Ring. Chapter 1. Rarity?
Come in, sweetie Belle.
It's ruined. It's ruined. One of my favorite stories, and you ruined it with...
Oh, well.
The unicorn filly pushed the door open and entered the boutique's main room. Her older sister was just putting what looked like a stack of papers into a large envelope. You wanted to see me? Rarity's magic perfectly folded her glasses and placed them on a nearby desk. She magicked the envelope into the air and let it settle between Sweetie Belle's hooves. What's this?
It's a letter. I wrote it for you.
Rarity did her best to keep her voice calm. Knowing what Sweetie Belle was about to read, this was not the easiest thing to do.
I'd like you to read it.
Right now?
Yes!
Jesus Christ, my man. I think my microphone picked that one up. She sighed.
Sweetie Belle, I know this hasn't been very easy for you. Mother and father's accident, you moving in with me.
Accident. Wink, wink, Rarity.
I tried to make it sound like you were saying that. It's all happened so fast, and I know that it's been rough for you. But it's been rough for me, too. I just hope that this letter will help you cope with their passing.
She turned and headed out of the room.
I'll be upstairs if you want to talk about it. Okay?
Talk about what, Rarity? What's this about?
Please.
Rarity looked back with pleading eyes.
Please, just read it.
Man, her voice got higher.
Mommy has a massive headache and she doesn't want to deal with your hooliganry.
Confused, but wanting to please her big sister, Sweetie Belle just smiled and nodded. Just smile and wave, boys. Rarity smiled back, took a deep breath, and headed upstairs. It was out of her hooves now. Sweetie Belle waited until she heard the shutting of a door before she magicked the envelope open. Inside was a sheaf of papers, neatly stacked, covered in Rarity's distinctive cursive. Not knowing what to expect, she began to read. And then we got a whole bunch of forward slashes over here. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 24 slashes.
Wow, that was some good counting.
I didn't actually count it. Anyways. Dear Sweetie Belle, I suppose that this day was going to come sooner or later. I had hoped that Mother and Father would still be here to help me tell you, but that's not the way things worked out, I guess. There's an old saying that the truth will out in the end, no matter what. I suppose that doesn't even change if the ones you needed to help tell the truth are gone. So yeah, now I'm ruining one of my favorite stories. Yay.
I've cursed him. He will forever live in shame.
The truth can do a lot of things. From personal experience, I could tell you that it can hurt just as much as it can help. I just hope you know that once I've told you everything, nothing will change, unless you want it to, that is. A large part of me hopes that you will want it to, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to tell you a story. It's a bit long, so I hope you're comfortable. Sit down. This story starts just after I graduated school in Ponyville. I was accepted into a prestigious fashion academy in Philadelphia. It was my first time away from home, and I confess that I came ready for the education, but I was woefully unprepared for the school's nightlife. Rarity, come on, we're gonna be late.
Shining Star, I changed my mind. You go on without me. I, have far too much studying to do.
Shining Star snorted. Studying, huh? In the bathroom? She pushed the door open to find her roommate smiling back sheepishly. trying to hide behind the shower curtains. The silver unicorn rolled her eyes and pulled her out of her poorly planned hiding place with her magic. Honestly, Rarity, what are you so worried about? You look great.
You don't think I know that?
That's what Rarity would say. The teenage seamstress in training flipped her mane back and tried to act haughty.
I am most certainly not worried, Shining Star. I just have
The mask slipped. Her eyes darted about the room.
a lot of studying to do.
Rarity, our first test isn't for another week.
Starting early never hurt any pony.
Rarity. Rarity's mouth snapped shut, and she averted her roommate's eyes.
I'm just nervous, okay?
What in Equestria about? Shining Star pondered for a moment, then stomped her hoof in mock realization. Rarity, you've never been to a party? She asked, her voice dripping with false shock.
Of course I have, Star. Just not a party like this.
Oh, you know what? I'm curious. What do you think is going to happen at the end of this?
It's a sex party. It's a sex party. She's gonna have sex.
That's right. It's our first Klopvic, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah!
That's a joke. Don't click off, please. A party like what?
You know.
She looked around the room as though checking for prying ears and whispered.
With boys.
Really? Shining Star deadpanned. You've never been to a party with boys.
Is that unusual?
Rarity asked, honestly. You sure about
I tried
that?
to sound sarcastic.
As a filly, sure, there had been boys at birthday parties and school functions, but for the life of her, she could not recall a single party since she'd reached marehood that had also welcomed boys. Good, am I right, folks?
Are you trying to sound relatable?
Are you trying to shut the fuck up and let me do this? It just wasn't proper for a young lady. I guess it's not unusual for someone from a backwood earth pony town. Shining Star.
Shut up, Shining Star.
Shining Star
Oh my
started.
god, you're being so mean.
Shining Star started. Say that 5 times fast.
Shining Star started. Shining Star started. Shining Star started. Shining Star started. Shining Star started.
Thank you. But stopped when she saw the hurt in her roomie's eyes. Hey. She placed a hoof on her friend's shoulder and drew her close. Don't worry, kiddo. I'll keep an eye on you. You poor, little, sheltered thing, you. You poor, poor, stupid, dumb idiot.
She stopped when she saw the hurt on her friend's eyes and just, doubled down. Started patronizing her even worse.
Lovely. Rarity cast her blue eyes up in an expression of pleading. Oh, she has blue eyes? Huh.
You promise?
You have my word. Now, let's get your makeup finished. Okay, so here we are back to the italics. What was your voice again, please?
It's like this, Ross.
Shining Star abandoned me about 30 seconds after we'd arrived. Well, that
Oh,
actually
Shining
worked.
Star, you son of a loser.
She's not a son, though.
Yeah, but anyone
At
can be a
this
son of a
current
loser.
stage of her life, I guess. I don't know about any other current stages of her life, but just saying, we're all supportive here. I mean, unless you're, one of those filthy, filthy fucking Texans. God, I hate them all.
What the heck?
The party was taking place on the 3rd floor of the student dorms. These days, co-ed dormitories are a dime a dozen, but in those days, it was new and exciting for young colts and mares to be sharing the same living space. After Shining Star disappeared, I reluctantly moved deeper into the crowd. My plan was to have a few drinks, maybe dance a little, then bow out and head back to my room. I really did have a large amount of studying to do. Anyway, I had absolutely no intention of meeting any boys. That all changed when I saw him. Another drink.
Jesus.
This one a Pegasus. Bumped into her. That's clever, though, Wizzy. I liked that.
Excuse me!
She cried, but the indignation in her voice was swallowed by the pounding and ambient crowd noise. Wizzy, let's get some of that crowd noise.
Waddle, 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 wee! Waddle, 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 wee!
She never seen so many ponies cramped into one space before. It was a miracle she could move out. She could move about at all. Dude, was it that difficult for you when I was doing it?
At one point when you were doing that before, I had just taken out my headphones and continued reading.
Oh, wow. Please continue doing it. After what seemed like an eternity of inching through the tightly packed bodies, she finally reached the makeshift bar. The bar mare, a shapely senior with flowing pink hair, appraised her. "What's it gonna be, honey?" This gave Rarity pause. Alcohol was new to her. She racked her brain, trying to come up with something to say.
Whatever's on tap?
Was that the correct phrase? The mare laughed and passed over a cupful of foaming liquid. Just stick with the cider. Lightweight, and can't be bothered to remember the, freaking words.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, I just realized who this pony is. Oh, hold on. Fleur. Coming, boss. The mare trotted away without a second glance. Rarity fumed over her drink and nursed it, not really tasting it. The nerve of that twiggy little... How could she be a lightweight? She'd never even drank before. For all this Fleur pony knew, she could be the heaviest drinker in the whole place, in all of Equestria even. You know what? I believe it. The thought calmed her temper slightly, and she sipped more of the cider. It was quite good, though not as good as the Apple family's back home. The noise around her faded as she imagined the peaceful serenity of home in Ponyville. Rough night. The male voice that had interrupted her train of thought came from her left. Quick, kick with all your might. And she did her best to ignore it. This was inevitable, of course. Some drunken young stud was trying to pick up on her. She took some satisfaction out of the knowledge that he wasn't going to have any luck with her, especially not tonight. Yeah, you go, girl. What you doing in a place like this, sweetness? Of all the impertinent...
Just having a little drink. Alone.
She muttered icily, stretching out the last word.
Take the hint, my friend.
You should never drink alone. That's how impressionable young mares like you get into trouble. Wouldn't want that to happen now, would we?
Is that a threat?
I don't think anyone should drink alone, by the way, unless they're safely at home by themselves. And even then, with only a few drinks.
Exactly.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. She'd had quite enough of her fellow students talking down to her like she was some ditzy backwoods pony. You leave Derpy Hooves out of this. She turned angrily to shut him down completely and froze. He was simply the most handsome unicorn she had ever set her eyes on. His coat was white, though a bit of a darker shade than her own. It made his subdued pink mane stick out more than it should have. His eyes were green and deep, so deep she could feel herself falling into them. What's your name, sweetness? I don't like this guy. Now that she was listening intently, his voice seemed melodious. His voice seemed melodious and soothing.
Rarity.
That's a pretty name. To my everlasting shame, I don't even remember his name. What I do remember is this. He was a student, but not at the fashion school. He was simply attending the party. He was ahead of his class at the Philadelphia Music Academy, and I do remember that he sang for me. His voice was amazing, Sweetie Belle. He sang and I sang with him, and we drank cider and other stronger things, and the night went on. That's all I can remember.
Oh no, did he drug her?
I just think they're both stupid idiots. Drank too much, probably.
Okay.
That's all I can remember. Maybe I couldn't handle my alcohol after all. Maybe he slipped me something. I'll never know.
Ah!
Okay, so they do
So
reference
there is a
the
chance that he
possibility.
drugged her.
You know what? I like to think that no, they're both drunk and stupid.
I hope so.
I woke up the next morning in my bed with a massive headache. I could hear Shining Star snoring in the bunk below mine. I made a mental note to chastise her when she awoke for abandoning me like she did. The covers were a mess, as was the rest of her room. He was gone, and I never saw him again. About a month later, I knew something was wrong.
Doctor, is this going to take very long? I have a class in 15 minutes.
The test results should be back any minute, Miss I'm playing like all of the side characters.
I should have taken that one.
Yeah, you
But I
probably
didn't.
should have.
I'm stealing the next one.
All right, good. Good. The test results should be back any minute, Miss Rarity. Rarity exhaled dramatically and reclined on the plastic-covered examination table, regretting that she'd even come to see the campus doctor. True, she'd been nauseous a lot, but it was probably just nerves. I know how that feels.
Oh my god, wait.
What's up?
She's pregnant with Sweetie Belle.
Don't be ridiculous.
Oh my god, she's the real parent of Sweetie Belle. This is just like Andy Mack.
Oh, brother. I sometimes I don't understand Wizzy's, train of thought.
She's nauseous. She was just with a pony. That pony did drug her and impregnated her with Sweetie Belle. And this note is to tell her that Sweetie Belle is her daughter. Oh my god, if I'm right, I'm going to be so proud of myself for my sleuthing.
Oh, brother. Well, I guess you're going to be buying me the drinks, Wizzy.
I would hope so.
Remember, Wizzy, I read this before, so I know what's going to happen, so... I mean, maybe you got it right, but I'm just saying.
Ross, continue.
There was that first major design exam next Thursday. There was a loud thump on the office's window. The old gray doctor lifted it open with his head and allowed a messenger bird to fly in. Here is the results now. He pulled a roll of papers from the bird's leg and rolled it open on his desk.
Finally.
She sat up and went to collect her saddlebag.
If there's nothing else, I'll just be on my way.
Miss Rarity? The tone of his voice made her stop cold. She turned to face him. His eyes were grave.
What could be wrong now? Why are you stopping me?
She should go see his manager.
Anyway, what she really said was, what's wrong?
It came out a weak whisper. Miss Rarity.
Is it some rare disease?
She gasped.
Something worse? Doctor, please tell me.
Are we sexually role-playing? What the hell was that? Miss Rarity. He snapped, shutting her up. Please calm down. You aren't sick. Rarity felt an enormous pressure lifting.
Oh, thanks, Celestia.
All right, good night. No, I'm kidding. You are, you are, however, pregnant.
Slam dunk for my first prediction.
Pregnant indeed. But we'll see. I fainted dead away onto the floor. The first thing I did when I came to was ask the doctor to repeat his test. He did as I asked, but the results were the same. I fainted. I was indeed pregnant. I had a good cry with the nurse and listened to the doctor as he rattled on about responsibilities and risks and what have you. I didn't even hear him. I knew the mysterious music academy student was the father, but I had no way of tracking him down. For all I knew, it should actually be fairly easy to track him down. This is a land where you're colorful, very colorful. You know his exact, let's just say, character design. Just go to the stupid music school. It can't be that far away if he was just visiting for a goddamn party.
Yeah. Or, just use magic, because I bet there's some magic tracking spell.
I doubt Rarity would be able to pull that off, especially not in these days.
What? Magical baby daddy tracking spell?
She has trouble lifting a boulder.
What? Rarity. And you thought you could down that much cider and be okay?
Anyways. For all I knew, he had graduated already. I could already see the condemnation in my parents' eyes. The silent judgment to be laid upon me by the rest of Ponyville. I was pregnant. I didn't even know my child's father's name. When the doctor dismissed me, I headed back to my room. Shining Star was home, getting ready for another party. She asked me why I had been crying. The bitch. She asked me if I wanted to go out again. Poor girl. I never thought I had it in me to do what I did to her. The dean
please tell me that she made her pay for everything.
Yeah. Like those shoes, the food, other things
more
you pay
cider.
for. What else do you pay for? Aside from shoes and
food. The birth of her child.
Especially in, college. What do college kids buy? I'm a college student myself, but I don't
ramen noodles.
Buy a lot. Well, that goes into the food category, Wizzy. Wizzy, you need to think with your brain on occasion.
Textbooks and ramen noodles.
Ah, you're right, textbooks. But we can just get ebooks offline, the things that you're not supposed to look up, quote unquote. The PDFs of everything ever in existence. Don't tell my school I said that.
They deserve it.
Poor girl. Never thought I had it in her to do what I did to her. The dean was quite understanding of my situation. In place of expulsion, I was granted an extended leave of absence until my situation was resolved. I visited Shining Star in the hospital to see if she could recall anything from that night. The poor girl wouldn't stop screaming and trying to get away from me.
Yes.
So I just left her some flowers and returned to the dorms to pack my things. I sent 2 letters off to Ponyville ahead of me.
She does not deserve those flowers.
Oh, come on. She was beaten to shit, dude.
Yeah. Deservedly so.
Yeah. Wait, why did she deserve it? I mean, it was bad, don't get me wrong.
Because she was a total bad friend.
But also...
She's just like, oh, you poor backwoods hick. I'm going to dump you off at this party, and you're going to, end up in the bed with someone who may or may not have raped you.
May or may not, A. But B, does being a bad friend in that type of manner, should that resort in a beating? I think not.
Yeah.
Well,
are you saying that she was in the wrong in beating her?
I'm not saying she was in the wrong or in the right. I'm just saying,
she did not have to give her those flowers.
Maybe
she did
not
it
to the point of putting
awesome
her
rarity heart.
Maybe not putting her to the point of putting her in the hospital.
Oh, come on. She probably, broke a nail, and then she's like, oh my god, how could you? I'm going to the hospital to get this checked out.
I think that's pretty rude to Shining Star, especially considering how
Shining
they
Star
are horses.
would have gotten... Shining Star would have gotten, a single bruise and gone to the hospital for that. I'm telling you, she's weak!
Okay.
By the way, I have no clue what these characters are outside of the fanfictions.
Shining Star doesn't exist.
Oh, I thought you said that you knew her earlier. You're like, oh yeah, I remember this character.
I remembered her. If I did say that, it was probably in reference to when I first read this.
Of course. Well, from what they designed her character as, I believe that she deserved to go to the hospital.
You're just kind of rude. She has a life. Exams to
And
finish.
she's gonna lose it if she keeps being such a terrible person.
Well, you know what, Wizzy? Rarity's an adult.
And that's what gave her the strength to beat up Shining Star.
Okay. The first was to my parents. I told them nothing of my situation, only that I was taking a break from the stresses of school and would be staying at my best friend's house for a while. The second letter was to my best friend. I knew that she was the only pony I could trust the truth with. Whatever. She was the only pony who could understand.
There, you poor thing.
Fluttershy cooed softly, holding her sobbing friend.
I just don't know what to do.
Rarity sniffed. It hadn't hit her until that morning how severe her situation was. She convinced herself that she could hide the pregnancy for at least a little while longer. However, after using Fluttershy's bathroom, she looked in the mirror. She was farthing along. Wizzy, you gotta start doing these earlier, man.
I'm sorry, but, I had told you I had plans.
I know, but, my man.
I'll try in the future.
She was farther along than she'd realized, and starting to show it.
What will my parents think?
I'm sure they'll understand.
How do you know?
Rarity pulled away from her handkerchief and smacked Fluttershy dead on. No, she didn't do that. Rarity pulled away.
Fluttershy deserves it too! No, this character is making me aggressive.
Rarity pulled away from her handkerchief and glared at it.
They'll probably say that I brought shame on the family. They might even disown me. Fluttershy, what would I do then? How could I survive without my parents?
Fluttershy said nothing, and then got up and left. Wow,
I don't have to deal with this.
Hitting banger after banger on this improv night. Fluttershy said nothing. The baby bunny she had just adopted hopped up. Oh, she adopted Angel Bunny. Oh.
Shouldn't give birth to her?
Him. I guess not. The baby bunny she had just adopted hopped up and patted the distraught unicorn on the forehead. Rarity sniffed again and smiled down at him.
Oh, my stars. Fluttershy, he's adorable.
He is, isn't he?
The butter-colored Pegasus reached down and scratched the ball of fur on his head.
I forgot you missed the winter wrap-up debacle. Old Feather Duster moved the clouds too fast, so all the snow melted too soon, and all the bunny holes got flooded. This little angel was the only one who got away in his whole family.
Fluttershy is way too happy sounding there.
I didn't realize what she was going to be doing, and I just kept reading in the same tone.
I love it. Rarity is just pissed off at everything, and Fluttershy is just happy days all the time.
That's awful. That Feather Duster should have retired years ago.
We won't have to worry about that anymore. Mayor fired him and appointed a new weather team captain, Rainbow Dash.
Yeah. Fired.
I loved ending it at, we won't have to worry about that anymore.
Rarity snorted into her handkerchief.
Snort. Rainbow Dash? That blowhard from school?
Shut up.
Yes, but that's beside the point. What I'm getting at is that you're so much luckier than Angel and I.
How's that?
You still have a family that can help you.
Oh, shit. Fluttershy.
Stop making it about you, Fluttershy.
My man. I get it. Don't get me wrong. But Angel's a rabbit. You're not pregnant. And Rarity's gonna get shunned.
I can see how she's trying to make her take things less for granted, but it sounds like she's sort of just like blaming her and making the situation about Fluttershy.
Yeah.
Could have worded it better, Fluttershy.
Maybe a little, yeah. Rarity sat, stunned. How could she have been so selfish? Here she'd been lamenting that she might lose her parents over this. And here Fluttershy was, who had already lost hers. Not true. She leaned forward and hugged Fluttershy as tightly as she could. You know, that is funny, though.
Wait, is that not true?
No, Fluttershy has parents. Two healthy, adorable living parents. Applejack's is the only ones that aren't around anymore.
Huh. Do
Funny
they talk
thing
about that?
Like, ish. There's an episode called The Perfect Pair. It focuses on those two, and Grandpair comes back, and it's... I'll have to tell you later.
You okay?
But anyways, it's interesting. Like, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, and Applejack's parents were never around during the first few seasons.
My father wasn't around. My father wasn't around. I swear that I'll be around for you.
And yet we all focused on Applejack's parents. Like, oh, those are the dead ones. They're definitely dead. Super dead. Can't get those guys around anymore. But whatever. Oh, yeah, and Scootaloo, too. We also did that to Scootaloo, but that one's fair because she's not an adult. Although, to be fair on that one, like, neither is Apple Bloom, who Applejack and Big Mac live with, so, you know what? Fair enough to us. Bronies, not Wizzy, who doesn't care.
Womp womp.
She leaned forward and hugged Fluttershy as tightly as she could.
I'm sorry, Fluttershy. You were right. You're absolutely right.
She was right. I had a family, and I knew no matter what, they would be there for me.
Well, you never really know.
Ooh.
It was time to go home. I'll never forget what happened. When I stepped into the kitchen, they saw me and instantly knew. I saw tears in my mother's eyes, but what I saw in my father's eyes was worse. Sweetie Belle, I swear I saw death. Death in his eyes.
No, didn't say that.
I swear I saw his heart breaking through his eyes. His baby girl. I told them the whole story from beginning to end, then braced myself for the yelling to come. And when it came, oh, fuck, it came.
No, I'm kidding.
It never came. While they were disappointed in my actions, they'd recognized that it was not entirely my fault. I was scolded and lectured and made to promise that nothing like this would ever happen again. Then they embraced me and we cried together. I knew that with them by my side, I could make it through anything. Forgive me, Sweetie Belle, I just miss them so much. It was a difficult transition, but we survived. I lived at home in a sort of quarantine.
Quarantine!
Yay! With Mommy, Daddy, and Fluttershy, my only connections to the outside world. They even managed to convince every pony in town that I was suffering from a rarity disease. So I was rarely bothered.
Oh, no, it's so bad, the puns.
It was a group decision to hide me. Not because of a possible scandal, but because, well, I suppose that it was simply a matter of privacy. Some things are just better left amongst family, I guess.
Did you seriously just say privacy?
Oh, you know Rarity would.
Oh no, you're right.
Every pony was so worried about me, Sweetie Belle. I've always been a bit on the thin side, and so by the time my delivery date drew near, I had swollen fit to burst. At Fluttershy's urging, we brought Nurse Redheart into our little conspiracy. She put me on bed rest and set up a room at the hospital to be ready when the moment came. Months passed, and the day arrived at last. Oh, Sweetie Belle, the pain. It was unbelievable. I felt as though I was being torn apart from the inside out. I endured.
But it still wasn't as bad as what I did to whatever
Shining
her name
Star.
was, the Shining Star.
I endured as best I could until night fell, and Fluttershy herself carried me to the hospital under cover of darkness. Hell yeah. Fluttershy been weightlifting, brah.
Oh yeah.
I swear sometimes that Pegasus is stronger than any other pony in Equestria. She got me to the hospital in record time, not too long after that. I held my foal for the very first time.
Oh, Rarity, she's beautiful.
Fluttershy gushed, happy tears leaking from the corners of her eyes. Her parents beamed with pride beside her. Rarity lay, stomach first, on the hospital bed and cradled the newborn filly between her hooves. Her mane was in tatters, and she was bathed in sweat, yet she had never felt so happy, so fulfilled, so beautiful.
A unicorn! I knew it! I knew it!
Her father muttered, trying and failing to hide his own tears.
Unbroken for 4 generations, now we are.
Rarity appraised the little bundle that she had created. Her coat was white, though maybe a shade darker than her own. Her mane was a perfect blend of her own purple and the filly's father's pink. Her eyes darted around the room, a vibrant green. See, green eyes, not Sweetie Belle.
It's Sweetie Belle.
Her father's green. She seemed to... Okay, yeah, it's Sweetie Belle. She seemed to trying to memorize this world. Was this written by this baby? Sorry, it was a bit rude. It was a while ago, you know. But can't say that around that same time I wasn't making those same mistakes. In my defense, though, I was like 12. So, you know.
What if they were?
Oh. She seemed to be trying to memorize this world she was in now. She yawned, as though bored already, and drifted off to sleep for the very first time. Wow, what a bitch. You just come into this world, this glorious world. Magic, light, everything. And you go to sleep in like 4 seconds?
She wants to try everything,
Fuck
including
this
sleeping.
baby, dude. Seriously, she had like 9 months to do that.
If a baby fell asleep immediately after being born, what do you think they would dream of?
Magic sheep?
Do baby horses dream of electric sheep?
That's a good question. Okay, so legit, I was actually trying to say electric sheep, but there's an episode of My Little Pony called "Do Princesses Dream of Magic Sheep?"
Oh my god!
So,
that's so good.
I confused it for that, but that honestly makes it funnier. Okay. Rarity nuzzled her newborn and sang softly to her a lullaby she remembered her own mother singing to her as a filly. She sang until she was asleep herself, and let's hear some of that song right now, Wizzy.
Way.
See, that's why I like Wizzy. We was on that shit. I was trying to think, what's the worst song to have here? Oh, let's think here. That one. No, that's actually a pretty good lullaby. Damn it. I would have probably stumbled for about 2 minutes before settling on Animal I Have Become by 3 Days Grace. It was 3 Days Grace, right? I'm pretty sure it was 3 Days Grace.
Yeah. That was 3 days grace.
Wizzy, he was on that.
My baby and I slept for a full day. When we awoke, Nurse Redheart fetched Fluttershy and my parents. We had a decision to make. The decision would end up haunting me for the rest of my life. Kill the baby.
No!
Dark joke, sorry. Wait, I don't care. It was her mother that spoke first.
Rarity, have you decided?
I love that. Damn it, why couldn't you have done that for Rarity? Rarity was totally entranced by every move the baby made. Every wave of a tiny hoof. Every nose twitch. She's just so goddamn pissed at this baby. She's studying its every move.
Have you decided what you are going to do with her? Who you're going to give her to?
Rarity tore her attention away from the foal. In all the excitement, she hadn't even considered it. The idea seemed insane. Give up her baby? Her baby? There was nothing in Equestria that could separate her from the filly now, except where would they live? Where would they go? Where would they come from? Move back in with her parents? And what about school? For the first time since the birth, the consequences of her situation came crashing down around her.
I suppose the sensible thing to do would be to find some pony to adopt her.
The words tasted bitter on her tongue, and she hated herself for coming to such a conclusion.
I love her so much, but I just can't provide for her right now, can I?
The filly looked up at her and made a pleasing baby sound. Baby. That was the baby sound. I hope you enjoyed it.
But I so wish I would be able to see her sometimes.
Not all times,
Then
but,
why not put her...
you know. Oh, no, you were going to make a riff, too. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, wait. That was the next line.
I was just...
Sorry, you just used the same Rarity
Oh,
voice. Or at least it sounded like, so I thought you were...
Then why not put her somewhere nerby?
Wizzy, words cannot describe how much you mean to me. The tone in her mother's voice caught Rarity's attention.
Mother?
Her mother backed away, and her father stepped forward.
Rarity, we weren't going to tell you this, but your mother was going to have another baby. She lost it. Like, literally lost it. We didn't know. We were kind of on a picnic, and then she went off with the baby somewhere, and oop, it's gone. I don't know. Just before you got home.
Rarity's eyes widened in shock.
Oh, Mother.
Oh, mother. Wah, wah. Miscarriages are funny. Not dramatic. Her mother shook her head and waved for her father to continue.
We have a singular opportunity here, but only if you want it.
He took a deep breath and pressed on.
Give her to us, Rarity. Now, and I won't ask twice.
Pulls gun out, points it at Rarity, and then points it at the baby.
Give her to us now, Rarity.
It's just gonna keep going, making your own story this entire time.
I'm sorry, it's kind of fun.
Give her to us, Rarity. You can watch over her, protect her, and love her, blah, 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 for all her life. You'll just have to, you know...
Pretend she's my sister.
Maybe that.
Rarity muttered, again watching the filly as she began to doze. Such a thing seemed unimaginable, but it also made the most sense. She would be able to keep close to the foal, help in raising her right, and even providing for her in some aspects. It was the best thing for her, all things considered.
Can she never know then? Can she never know who I really am?
That's up to you.
Rarity thought about it, then smiled and brushed a curl from the baby's brow.
One day, I want her to know. But I want to do it when she's ready.
Understood.
Oh, Rarity's mother. Her mother said, reaching over to pick the foal up. Rarity stopped her with a hoof. Fuck off!
Can I just hold her a bit longer, Mother?
Her mother nodded and wiped a tear from her eye.
Of course. And you still have to name the little sweetheart.
Sweetheart. Rarity
Sweathart. Sorry.
Rarity pondered for a moment, then looked over at Fluttershy. The Pegasus was cuddling with Angel, who seemed embarrassed by the attention. Oh, get away. Get away.
Fluttershy, do you still speak all those different languages you taught yourself during school?
Yes, why?
What's another word for beauty?
Fluttershy smiled and whispered the first word that came to mind.
Belle, I guess?
Rarity nodded and stroked the little creature's mane. She cooed in response and snuggled closer to her mother. Ah! It's adorable.
Your mommy loves you.
I didn't say I
sweetie
was
Belle.
done. Rarity,
Sorry.
Rarity smiled and nuzzled her.
Your mommy loves you, sweetie Belle. Always.
So that's what we did. Mommy and Daddy revealed you to the world as their second-born daughter, and I returned to school. Those 4 years were excruciating for me. I remember rushing home every break, every holiday, just to be there for you and watch you grow. It was so difficult adhering to the lie. I almost slipped once or twice, but somehow we made it through. I remember the closest call was getting your cake for your second birthday party. I accidentally told the cake's new apprentice baker that the cake was for my daughter, not my sister. Can you fucking believe it? She promised not to tell any pony, and even sealed it with something she called a pinky promise. Now the fuck that means.
So wait.
Your Rarity voice has gotten to me.
Why did she just not be like, oops, I meant sister, and then be like, my mistake, I accidentally used the wrong word?
Because
Why'd she have to be like, oh no, I was telling the truth when I messed up what I said?
because Pinky can sense it, and Rarity's not a good
Okay,
liar.
that's right. She does have that pinky sense, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
I was there for your first steps. I was even there the first time you used your magic. You don't even remember. But the first thing you lifted was an apple from Daddy's plate. You should have seen the look on his eyes. Such pride. I was not there, however, for your first word. Thanks, man. And I'm kind of glad, actually. Probably would have died hearing you say mama to my own mother.
There's such contempt in that voice.
I was there to hear you the first time you sang. You inherited your father's voice, which is the greatest gift the lout could have given you. Whenever I visited, I would sneak into your room late at night and hold you. I'd sing you lullabies and tell you of all the greatest things you would see and do when you grow up. Let's also get one of those lullabies right now, Izzy.
Animal I have become. Help me believe it's on.
Hell yeah. I graduated and returned home to Ponyville. Daddy surprised me by buying the old Carousel boutique for me as a graduation present. Oh, Daddy just gets you everything, doesn't he? God, the things we have to do, Wizzy.
Us, the working class people.
Yeah.
Unlike these rich, pampered little brats. Hold on 1 second.
Come in.
All right, back.
Hi, back. I'm dead.
I settled into life as best I could. It would never be complete without you. You know, Fluttershy and I were just discussing it one day at the spa. We came to a rather startling conclusion. Maybe I was chosen as the bearer of the element of generosity because I gave my parents the greatest gift imaginable. I gave them a Wii.
Yeah! This has nothing to do with the other parts of the story. I just wanted to talk about how great I am.
I'm so good. You have no idea. Like, I'm humble. I'm generous. I'm me. So, you know. I decided to write this. Oh, right. I gave them you. I forgot that it wasn't actually giving them a we. I was about to completely miss that one. I decided to write this letter after the accident. I know Mommy and Daddy would understand that things would change once you started living with me full time. The pain of raising you and still having you not know the truth would be unbearable. But now you know the truth. I know that part of you hates us for keeping all this from you. That's understandable. And, you know, you have every right to be mad at us. I can only hope that it passes in time. The next call is yours. Try me.
What?
I don't know what that was. I think that was a reference.
Your move.
It might have been something reference to something like that or something. I don't know. You know the truth, but you must decide what to do with it. If you want, everything can go back to the way it was before. We'll never speak of it again, and I will spend the rest of my days being the best big sister I can. Let's face it, that actually sounds kind of depressing when you put it like that. There's another choice, though. And you know what that is. Leave and never come back.
No.
I know you'll be coming soon, so I'll finish this up. Sweetie Belle, you have always been my secret treasure. I've always loved you with all my heart. What I did, it was done out of love. Nothing in this world is stronger than a mother's love for her child, they say.
Except maybe the cider I had when I was gonna conceive you.
You'll learn that one day. I can only hope that you learn it in a better way than I did. Love. Love. Rarity. The last page was covered in dried tears. Wonder why. New tears soon joined them. Rarity gave up.
Rarity, I couldn't read any of that. It was all smudged by tears.
Rarity, I can't read.
Forgot to teach her how.
Oh, well, thank heavens I'm your big sister and therefore therefore should not be the one teaching you how to read. Okay, bye. Rarity gave up on trying to read and tossed the book back onto the shelf. Yeah, man, I would be so antsy after that. Sweetie Belle had to be done reading by now, surely. Had she done the right thing? What if Sweetie Belle has ADHD like a little me and is like constantly looking elsewhere or something like that when trying to read something? Who knows, maybe
poor
someday
Sweetie.
she'll start a podcast where she has to read. Would it have been better to just hide the truth forever? There was still time to race to the library, convince Twilight Sparkle to find her memory erasing spell. The doorknob turned, and Rarity turned to face the young filly. Her eyes were downcast, and she seemed to be deep in thought. "Hey," she muttered.
Hey.
Rarity returned, mimicking Sweetie Belle's posture. I read the letter.
Good.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do it in exactly that same voice. Awkward seconds passed in silence, until at last, Sweetie Belle spoke. So, she looked up. What do I call you now? Rarity shook her head and started to turn away.
You can still call me Rarity, or sister, or whatever you like. Just don't call me Mom. That'd be weird.
Her lips quivered.
I may have ad-libbed.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Her lips quivered, and she felt the sting of tears.
I know that you must hate me right now. I understand, and I...
No! I've always hated you. No, just the no. Rarity shot back around to find Sweetie Belle's face flooded by tears. She bolted across the room and buried her face in Rarity's coat, bawling without shame. I don't hate you. I can never hate you. Never, never, never. She sobbed uncontrollably, and soon Rarity was crying right along with her.
Sure, don't cry, Sweetie Belle. Please don't cry.
I honestly hate Rarity in this story. Not in the story, but your interpretation of her.
Ross, I have to do a special voice.
I know. But couldn't you have done, I don't know, like a, hey there, kids, I'm Rarity, or something?
Yeah, don't cry, Sweetie Belle. Please don't cry.
You really think that would be better?
I love you. I love you so much.
I love you too, little one. I love you too.
Even muffled in her coat, Rarity heard what Sweetie Belle said next as clear as day. I love you, Mommy.
Ross had a horse's coat prepared just so he could make that sound accurate.
Just for that occasion, and nothing else. After waiting so many years to hear it, Rarity felt her heart burst in her chest, and Sweetie Belle was all alone with no parents again. Couldn't get that transplant on time. No, Rarity felt her heart burst in her chest. The floodgates opened, and soon she was crying. Thank you. I know my yawn is beautiful.
It is, though.
And soon she was crying even harder than Sweetie Belle. She slumped to the floor and curled her body instinctively around her foal, trying to protect her from everything and nothing at the same time. She sang her the lullabies she'd sung to her as a foal. Revealed to each other at last, mother and daughter wept together in joy and sadness. Joy at what they had found, and sadness at what the cost had been. And then we got more dashes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, a lot of dashes. It's
Man,
basically
Ross,
to indicate that this is a scene change, you see.
Your medication must really help you read all those dashes better.
Yep, it does. Applejack shook her head and pushed the letter away.
That's quite a story.
The orange earth pony turned from the desk and faced Rarity, currently reclining on her couch. So, Sweetie Belle took it well. Oh, those pranks you guys do. Oh, shucks.
Exceptionally well, if you'd believe it. The first few days were just the most awkward. Really, just because she wasn't sure what to call me. We've settled on her still calling me Rarity for the most part. We'll work Mom in there somewhere.
She's not mad?
No, I am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't call it mad. If anything, I'd say she's relieved. She sees it as getting a second mother after losing our parents.
I could see that.
I'm just a replacement, Applejack.
Oh, shucks, Sugar Cube. Kinda.
Personally, I've never been happier. It's more than just having her know. It feels as though a tremendous weight has been lifted off my chest.
Thank God my parents died. I've never been happier.
That good, huh?
Indeed.
Applejack scratched the back of her head thoughtfully.
So, what are y'all gonna tell the others? The town?
Rarity laughed.
We actually discussed that for a while. It would be a bit presumptuous to hold a press conference or something, wouldn't it?
This time, Applejack laughed.
Suppose you're right on that one.
Sound like a Boomhauer from King of the Hill.
Thank you.
Yes. So I decided that Fluttershy and I should just come clean to you and the others. I'm sure Pinky will be relieved to finally spill the beans.
Oh my God.
Where the information goes from there, that's beyond me.
So there's an episode in the show called The One Where Pinkie Pie Knows. It came out well after this. She learns that Shining Armor and Cadence are having a baby. You know, flirting with the precious little bean of a bull. She learns that, and she's like, what the fuck? I've got to tell everybody. And they're like, no, you can't tell everybody. And she's like, ah. So she has to spoil it, but she tries her best not to spoil it. And all of this to say is that that's an amazing episode, and it's like the funniest of the show. Fucking love that episode.
Would she make a pinky promise for that?
Yes. I've been getting liberal with those pinky promises. That's a line from the episode.
Really?
Yep. Word for
Oh,
word.
that sounds like such a good line.
And it is. It's great. But anyways, yeah, she would not have been able to hold that in that long. That's what I'm trying to say.
She would have been able to. It's a pinky promise. She can't break it.
We'll see. We'll see. And Sweetie Belle
Has probably already told the Crusaders.
They both laughed heartily. Ha ha, yuck, 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 yuck. Rarity cast her eyes at the clock.
Gracious! I have to finish packing. We're taking our first mother-daughter trip together this weekend, you know.
Where to?
Canterlot, we're gonna stay in the castle, tour the royal gardens, and see the museums.
Finally! And visit Hoity-Toity's boutique. Applejack finished, smiling knowingly. Rarity raised her nose in the air.
Well, of course. I do have a reputation to uphold.
They laughed again. Yuck, 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 yuck. No? Okay. And Applejack headed for the door. She paused just before going out and looked back. Well, hey, Rarity. You really feels that much better? Getting it all out in the open?
Oh, it's the best feeling in the world.
Applejack smiled. Okay, thanks.
Thanks? For what?
Rarity asked, but Applejack was already gone. Rarity shrugged and got back to work.
Oh my god, she has to tell her sister that she's her mother.
Uh-oh. She busied herself, packing for the next half hour, until she heard the sound of hooves approaching outside. She bolted into the next room and waited. The terrorists have come.
What the heck?
The door opened and shut with a snap, followed by the telltale sound of a saddlebag hitting the floor. Sweetie Belle will remember that. The minute clop of hooves, of little hooves. Rarity, I'm home. A pause. Rarity? A slightly longer pause. Tiny. Tentative. Mom? Rarity entered the main room and smiled at her daughter.
Hello, Sweetie Belle. How was school?
Sweetie Belle, grinning, trotted over and nuzzled her. It was fine, but I'm glad I'm home. Rarity nuzzled her back. She had to agree. It was nice to finally be home.
Granny Smith, Applejack, Big Macintosh, I'm home.
Oh my god, Apple Bloom is going to be her daughter.
Applejack yelled, pushing the door open and entering the farmhouse's
Apple
kitchen.
Bloom yelled.
I said Apple Bloom.
You said Applejack.
Nope.
Ross, you're wrong.
Play it back, Applejack yelled. Ah, well, guess you're right about that.
I knew it.
Apple Bloom yelled, pushing the door open and entering the farmhouse's kitchen.
Y'all won't believe what Sweetie Belle told me in the Scootaloo today.
It was ridiculous. The
She
worst
lied.
lie I ever heard. No response. The kitchen was empty. She shrugged and slid her saddlebag off onto the table. Granny Smith was probably with her bridge club, and her siblings were probably off working on the farm somewhere. She'd just have to tell them about Sweetie Belle's new plan to find their cutie marks while parasailing later. She was just heading for the pantry to grab a snack when something on the counter caught her eye. A letter. Her interest piqued. Apple Bloom sat in front of the table and inspected it closer. It was definitely Applejack's scrawl. She looked around to make sure she was alone, and then began to read. Dear Apple Bloom.
What the heck? Why is she also friggin' Apple Bloom's mom?
Oh, that's not what they said.
That's what they said.
That's not what they said. They didn't say that she was Apple Bloom's mom. She just said, oh, it's great to get it off the chest.
She's totally gonna say that. It's, Ross, it's implied. Come on. Don't play dumb.
Oh, really? Well, why don't we just happen to read Dear Apple Bloom, huh?
Is that the sequel?
Yep. Side note, have not read Dear Apple Bloom, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the twist. Jade Ring is smart. They're not going to do that.
It's gonna be like, Dear Apple Bloom, Granny Smith is your mother.
Jesus Christ.
Dear
That
Apple
would make
Bloom,
her
Macintosh is your mother.
Applejack's aunt.
Oh.
That's weird.
Oh, no, you're right. Dear Apple Bloom, I'm your mother and Macintosh is the father. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Don't get mad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I've read
No.
a lot of fan fiction in my time. Anyways, that was Dear Sweetie Belle by Jade Ring. How did we think of it?
Oh, it was very wonderful, Ross.
I agree. I can't deny I might have gotten a little bit of tears in the... Oh, what's this? Another sequel. This story is a sequel to Dear Sweetie Belle. Years after the events of Dear Sweetie Belle, Rarity convinces herself that her not-so-little anymore girl is stealing her beauty. Oh, boy, howdy.
Oh, boy.
I'm gonna just assume that's not true in the slightest. That's, like, not canon. Oh, and there's this other one called Partially Yours. Money has to grow up sometimes. Now a teenager, Sweetie Belle ventures to Philadelphia Academy of Music in order to start the search of her biological father. Will she find the stallion she is searching for?
Yeah, I was actually just going to say.
read that a bit sometime.
I didn't like how they glossed over the part with the dad, and it was like, oh, maybe it was consensual, maybe not. We don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
Maybe he took advantage of a drunk Rarity. Sweetie Belle, you don't want to find your father. I swear to God, he's not a good man.
Maybe Rarity took advantage of him.
Well, she can't remember what happened, Ross.
Yeah, because she's blocking it out because of the horrible things that she's done.
No, Ross. Why?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, this is a long episode. I love this story. I think it's really, really good. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, this is a good story. I liked it. The writing was good. The emotional bits were nice.
Yeah, preach, man.
And it
Always good.
It totally could be canon. We don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, her parents are still alive, but whatever.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying after her parents die, and
Well, I mean, Sweetie Belle, her parents are still alive when she gets her cutie mark.
okay, well, it still could be canon. This is just the universe where she actually told Sweetie Belle.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't mind that idea in the slightest, actually. I think something like that could be cool in a children's show, actually.
Andy Mac. I'm pretty sure that's the plot of Andy Mac.
Full confession, never seen Annie Mac.
I haven't seen much of it, but I'm pretty sure that I had read before that was the plot of Andy Mac.
Well, join us next week on Ross and Wissy's Fanfiction Power Hour, where we're going to get to the bottom of this Andy mystery. Andy Mac-gistery.
This is turning into the Andy Mac Fanfiction Power Hour.
Yes, perfect. That's what we need. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't, go into the description, click on the story link, and give it a big ol' thumbs up, because let me tell you, Jade Ring deserves it, even if you didn't like the story.
Truly.
And if you didn't like the story, I don't care what you think. Go give it a like anyways. It doesn't do anything to you. So anyways. Yeah, that's it.
Bye.
Another drink.
Jesus.
Hold on, I'm getting a drink. Fuck you, Wizzy.
Another drink. Ross was a Pegasus.
Another drunk. Applejack yelled, pushing the door open and entering the farmhouse's
Apple
kitchen.
Bloom yelled.
I said Apple Bloom.
You said Applejack.
Nope.
Ross, you're wrong.
Play it back. Applejack yelled. All right, let's have two different takes just in case one of us got it wrong. Let's go with the take where you're right first. Ah, well, yes, you're right about that.
I
All right,
knew
cool.
it.
Now, well, you were going to continue that. Okay.
I don't know. You sound like you wanted me to.
No, I did. But all right, now we'll do the take where I'm right. You can start this one off.
I'm Wizzy and I was wrong. Now I'm singing the Wizzy wrong song. I shouldn't have taken that chance. Now I'm doing this remorseful dance.
Fucking hell, now I don't want to be right. That was beautiful, Wizzy.
Don't you mean you don't want to be wrong?
I think you're going places. I just hope you know that... Butterflies.